Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So here we are with our session number 38. Let's start with review. I hope you were able to complete the task that was assigned to you, and everyone is now able to recite Mudare chat. But before we do that, we will start our review with and then I will come and I will ask few of you to recite the table. Okay, inshallah. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. So my first question of today's review is, what are the 4 signs of Mudare? Alif, yes, Alif. Or there is just a little correction. Hamza, if you call it Hamza, that is the right answer, because Alif is only there to stretch a sound. Remember that, okay? How Alif and Hamza are different. Hamza is always going to have a haraka, right? So keep that in mind. So Alif and Hamza are not the same. Alif is without any haraka. It is for mad. It is for stretching a sound of a letter, and which is fatha. And but when you see Hamza, that that is your sign of Mudare. And Anita, sounds good. Yes, very well done. So everyone is good with mnemonic, and they know just an easy way to remember things that Hamza, Noon, Yata, and if your word is beginning with that, you know that your word is a Mudare, right? So the next question is, following af'al have ya as sign of Mudare. So what are those following? What should I write there? Start with do you need help? Do you want to see the table? The sign ya. So yes, so you can say yansuru. If you just go back to your table, if you just want to write yansuru, that is going to be the right way to do it. Like yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, and then there's another one, hunna, yansurna, right? So you can say that your huwa, huma, home, and hunna start with letter ya, right? Is this clear? You can just, as Sister Huma has, oh no, it was Sister Ranaz, she has said, Hua, you can do it that way as well. That's an easier way to put things together. Like, my Hua, if my fail has Hua as a pronoun, I would understand that, you mean to say it's not, because Hua is not a fail, but the fail that contains Hua is going to start with letter Ya, or if it is Huma masculine, it is going to start with letter Ya. If it is hum, yansuruna, it is going to start with letter Ya. And if it is hunna, yansurna, it is going to start with letter Ya. Everyone with me so far? I hope. Alhamdulillah. So now, all these fi'l mudare begin with letter Ta. So hiya, very well done. Hiya, huma, muannas, they both, yes. Tansuru, tansurani, very well done. Then where will you go? You will go to your second person. You will go to your anta, and your anta is also going to start like tansuru, and then tansurani again. You, that is referring to you males, you masculine. You two masculine is also going to begin with letter ta, and then tansuruna, and yes, I see antunna beginning with letter ta, right? Antunna letter ta. So we are talking about our fail mudare that are beginning with letter ta. So it is going to be tansuru, tansurani, and tansuru could be hiya tansuru, and it could be anta tansuru, right? And then tansurani can be huma tansurani, and it could be antuma muzakkar and muannas tansurani, both. And then tansuruna, which is antum tansuruna. Then when I come down to my second person feminine, tansurina, right? Tansurina. And then the last one is going to be hunna tansurna. Yeah, so after when you're hiya huma, and then your whole entire second person is going to begin with letter ta. Just to make things easy for yourself, you can just write, hiya, huma feminine, and then entire second person is going to begin with letter ta. Yes. Now, letter noon is the sign of mudare when pronoun within the fail is blank. Noon is the sign of mudare when pronoun within fail is nahnu. Very well done. Yes, or we, right? Letter hamza is the sign of mudare when pronoun within fail is ana. Very well done. And now I'm not even finishing my question, and alhamdulillah, my dear sisters have start to answer. Barakallahu feek. So what is the pronoun in taf'alu? What do you think? What is the pronoun sitting in taf'alu? Taf'alu. Look at the beginning, my dear sister. Ta. It is either hiya or anta. Very well done. Hiya or anta, or you can also, so for if it is easy for you, you can also say she is there, and also you masculine is there. Okay, but when you see, Sister Ambreen has, did you notice how she has put hiya and anta? So I know if when she is meaning you, it is you masculine, because she has written anta, right? So it is very clear. Barakallah feek, Sister Huma. That works well too. That helps me know that you have understood the concept. Alhamdulillah. So now, give three possibilities for the pronoun in tansurani. Tansurani. So it is huma, it is antuma. So very well done. So three possibilities were huma can be masculine and feminine. So it is huma masculine, huma feminine, huma feminine, and it is antuma masculine and feminine, right? So tansurani could be huma tansurani, which is huma feminine tansurani, and it could be antuma muzakkar or masculine tansurani, and it could be antuma feminine tansurani, right? Everyone on board with this? Yes. You two male, you two females, they two females. Help. So if I give you this word and I ask you to translate it, so what are the three translations you are going to write? Tansuru means, or yansuru means he helps. Okay, yansuru means he helps. So now give me translation for this word. Three translations. Write the complete translation, how you will do word to word for this. So you two masculine, you two feminine help, right? You two M/F help, and you can also write they two females help. Very well done. Okay, now I'm going to ask you the next question. Where is the dual in yansurna and tansurna? Very well done. Noonun niswa, very well done. So your noonun niswa is the dual in hunna yansurna and antunna tansurna. which one is the third person? The first one or the second one? This noon here is a doer pronoun, here. Okay, so this is telling you the doer is feminine plural, and then when you see the sign of mudare in the beginning, that helps you distinguish this one from this one, right? When you see yansurna, you know they female help, and when you see tansurna, that means you all females help, right? Everyone with me so far? Ji? Yes? Barakallahu feek. So this is clear? No confusion about it? What are al-af'alul khamsa? What is special about them? What do they have? If I have to find out in my table, in this good table, if I have to find out where is my af'alul fi'lul khamsa, where are the af'al from af'alul khamsa, what should I look for? What are the signs? So I see here some good answers, that if my word has wa'ul jama or wa'ul jama, my word is going to be from af'alul khamsa. If my word, I see an answer, if I see an alifut tasniya or aliful usnain, my word is, I know my word is from af'alul khamsa. So two signs, waw, alif, waw, alif, and where was the third sign? What was the third sign for a word to be from af'alul khamsa? Yeah, very well done, very well done. Waw, alif, ya. Waw, alif, ya. And please, my dear sisters, do not confuse this ya with this ya, okay? So now, I am going to ask you a question, and I want a very clear answer here. Barakallahu fi mukhataba. That sounds very good. Alhamdulillah. And I'm going to ask you why is this is being called mukhataba. But let's look at this slide here. If somebody asks you, is this ya? How do you know that yansuru has huwa here? What is your answer? Give me an answer. I'm going to give you few seconds to write your answer. How do you know that this word has huwa? The doer here is huwa. Or let me ask you this way. Is there any pronoun visible here? Is your pronoun visible here? Very well done. Your pronoun is not visible. It is, you cannot see your pronoun. And don't make this mistake of calling your ya the pronoun. My dear sisters, when we did our fail madi, the whole fail madi, when we went over this concept, every time your pronoun was attached towards the end of the word, right? That beginning first letter is just only the sign of mudare. Yes, it helps you identify that, you know, the hua is sitting somewhere, but you cannot see it. Okay, so if your word is beginning with ya, that helps you identify that it is hua yansuru, but your damir is ad-damir al-mustatir. Please keep that in mind. You are never going to call this ya as your pronoun. Never call this ya as your pronoun. What is the name for this guy here? Ya. What will we call this guy? Ya. And that will help you understand as well, inshallah. That will give you your answers. What are we calling this ya? It's a sign of mudari. It's a sign of mudari or alamatul mudari. There's a difference when I tell you, you know, this is a pronoun and this letter is a pronoun, and whether this letter is a sign of mudare, please, my dear sisters, just, you know that there's a difference, okay? And your pronoun is mostly towards the, you know, or almost always, it is after, you know, your root letters. Did you notice? Every time the pronoun is after the root letters. It's not coming in front of the root letter. Your pronoun is always going to be towards the end of the root letter. And this ya here is a sign of tense or sign of mudare. It's not a doer, okay? So where is the doer? Again, I just told you, but I just want to make sure that you understood the doer is hidden. It is ad-damir al-mustatir. Now, when I take you to yansurani, where is the doer? Alif is the doer. But you see alif here as well. What helps you distinguish between the two? Between these two? Ya and ta. Very well done. Alamatul mudare helps you distinguish, but it does not, it is not the doer itself. Keep that in mind. It helps you choose who to, whether it is too masculine did something or too feminine, but it is not the doer itself. Okay? It helps you identify the doer. Do you know the difference between the doer itself and the sign that guides you towards the doer? For example, nasarat, tasikun, in case of nasarat, when we did that, did I ever call it a doer? Did I ever call it a doer? This girl here, this harf here, did I ever tell you that this is a doer? I never told you that, right? I taught you this is a sign that helps you identify that there was a she doing an action, but this is just harfu ta'nis, and it is just helping you figure out your doer, but this is not a doer. The doer is hidden, right? Ad-damir al-mustatir. So a few things we are, just going in some good detail of our fail. So alhamdulillah, and why not? Alhamdulillah, I know you sisters can understand this. So inshallah, I want you to fully understand each and every word of Quran. Okay, inshallah. Now, every time you will look at this table, you will keep this in mind. Wherever you have your doer visible, I have highlighted it yellow. Okay, I have given it a yellow color, fluorescent yellow. Okay, so that is your doer. So if I ask you, in case of tansuruna, where is the doer? What will you tell me? Waw is the doer, right? But waw is also in yansuruna. How will you know that this is they all help and this is you all help? Again, ya and ta. You will look at the beginning and you will look towards the end. When you look at something, I usually tell people, in the beginners, look at the end of your word, but also look at the beginning of the word too, guys. You cannot skip the beginning of your word, right? You have to look at the word completely. But yes, in case of Madi, you focus more towards the end of the word, but you never skip the beginning either, right? Similarly, in case of your Mudare, you are going to look for the sign of mudare at the beginning, and you're going to look for your pronoun towards the end of the word. This can be your question, inshallah, for your next review, that, for sign of mudare, we will look at the beginning of the word. For our pronoun, doer pronoun, we are going to look at the end of the word. I hope this is clear. And this noon, these noon girls here, these are pronouns. Keep that in mind. So will I ever call this noon a pronoun? Is this a pronoun? Will any one of you make a mistake of calling this noon a pronoun? This is not a pronoun. These all noons are not pronouns. Okay, they are not pronouns. The only pronoun, noon, in case of your fail mudare, is in case of third person plural, feminine, and second person plural feminine. Keep that in mind. Okay. Can you see your pronoun in nansuru? Can you see your pronoun in nansuru? Yes or no? You cannot see your pronoun. What helps you identify that it can be nahnu nansuru? No, very well done. Yes, it is helping you identify that this is nahnu nansuru and this is ana ansuru. But this Hamza and this Noon is not a doer. This Hamza and this Noon is not a doer. I hope this is clear. Now, Ya'ul Mukhataba. Mukhataba means, khitab means address. Khitab is an address, right? So Mukhataba means the one who is being addressed. So Ya'ul Mukhataba is in case of you, female help. Are we not talking to a person? Are we not addressing this female person when we tell her that, you female help? You do a great job, guys. You do a great job, my dear sisters. So am I not addressing you? So if I have to address one of you all, like, for example, if I pick Alina, she has her last answer here. So I will say, you help, right? So you help. So I'm talking to you, right? I'm addressing you. And the one who is being addressed is called mukhatab. That is being, the one being addressed is mukhatab. Okay, so from here, this doer pronoun gets its name. Is this clear? There's only one ya al-mukhataba. Yes, because do you see any other yas here? No, there are no other yas, right? So this guy, only this mukhataba is actually a girl, because why is it treated as girl? Who remembers? Why did I put a ta marbuta at the end? Why do I write nunun niswa? Why is it girl? And forget about this one, but think about this one, because this is a whole plural. So this one, why do I put ta marbuta at the end of ya'ul mukhataba? Why do I describe it like that? It is a sign of feminine. That's correct. But why? Why? Why this ya? Yes, very well done. Huruful hijja are feminine. They are treated as feminine in Arabic language. Barakallahu feek. See how everything helps in the end? In the very beginning, you have those 3 columns and, memorize it, your Arabic letters are from feminine, alhamdulillah. And now when you see them being treated as feminine, everything makes sense. Oh, wow. No, it was because, they are always, they're feminine. They're treated feminine. They can be treated masculine too sometimes, but that is for another day. Okay. So when we were doing this al-af'alul khamsa, we noticed that not only they all have waw, or alif or ya'ul mukhataba, they also have something else in addition. What is in addition? They all share. They all end with what? They all end with letter noon, right? They all end with letter noon. Everyone with me so far? Look at the word and see, not only they have, a couple of them have vowels, few of them have alif, and one has ya, but what is common is they all end with noon, right? Okay. And so now, how is it relevant? Why is it relevant? We need to know that this noon is not the same as this noon. We just discussed it. This noon is what? It's a doer noon. And this noon is there for some other reason. And we are going to learn that reason. Why is this noon there? Okay. So when we were learning about our fail madi, what did we learn about their ending? Were their endings fixed or their endings change? If you have kataba, can it ever be katabu, katabi, rafana sabjar? What did you? They are fixed. Very well done. They are fixed. So if you remember from whatever you learned in the past, I think I got the wrong one. I should have another one on which I did write that, their ending is fixed. So, but, I have taught you this, that, when it comes to fail madi, it is mabni. Yes, it is fixed, it is mabni, right? But when it comes to fail mudare is, in some cases flexible. Okay, and when you when you hear or learn about flexibility, what comes to mind? What comes to your mind? Should you look at the end of the word or the beginning of the word for flexibility? Yeah, tanween comes in mind when you look at the end of the word, right? And tanween is very important when it comes to an ism. But in case of af'al, we know af'al do not have the same tanween. There are two af'al only in Quran. In the entire Quran, there are only two af'al, nasfa'an and yakunan, that have tanween. And that tanween is not the same tanween that an ism can have, okay? So usually what you will see here is the ending of fail mudare will change, and fail mudare can also have statuses because of how its ending is going to be, but it is going to not be exactly the same as an ism. Okay, so how is it? It can have three statuses. When we learned our fail madi, we did not go over status at all because it had fixed endings. We did not need to. But in case of fail mudare, did you notice this guy here, yansuru, has the ma ending, tansuru has the ma ending, tansuru has the ma ending, tansurina is not, it's not at the ma ending, but ansuru and nansuru, they have the ma ending. Can you all see that? Focus on the ma ending of the table. Yansuru, tansuru, tansuru, ansuru, nansuru. Everyone with me so far? Sometimes this yansuru will be yansura, tansura, or tansuru can be tansura, ansuru can be ansura, nansuru can be nansura. Can you all see how this dhamma is not there anymore? So coming back to the status of fail, when it is ending with dhamma, the sign of, if when it is ending with dhamma, we are going to call that fail as fail mudare marfu, or we can say, just to keep things easy and simple for everyone, that the status of our fail mudare is raf. Is it clear or no? So if your fail mudare is ending with dhamma on the last root letter, which can be visible or implied in case the inbuilt pronoun is huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, you are going to call all these mudare as mudare marfu. If your fail mudare is huwa yansuru, hiya tansuru, anta tansuru, ana ansuru, nahnu nansuru, and it ends with dhamma, just like we learned in our fail mudare table in our last session. Your fail mudare is going to be called, it's your fail mudare. It means that when it is ending with dhamma, that means your fail mudare has marfu status or is raf in status. Is this clear, Sister Anas? All my sisters who are doing it for the first time, type 1 if it is clear. If it is not, I will repeat it. Alina? Huma? Okay, good, good. So if your mudare is, let me show you here. If your mudare is huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, which is yansuru, huwa yansuru, hiya tansuru, or anta tansuru, because it is the same, only the context is going to tell you whether it is hiya or anta or ana ansuru and nahnu nansuru. And now I'm asking you, what is the status of your mudare? You are going to answer mudare marfu. Okay, what are you going to answer? That, what is the status of this mudare? This is raf'in status, or it is mudare marfu. Everyone with me so far? Now, is it clear or no? Homa? Alhamdulillah. Now, if your mudare, now there are mudares on your table that are not ending with, not everything is ending with dhamma, right? What about yansurani, yansuruna, tansurani, 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 tansuruna, tansuruna? What about these guys? Every time when you see your noon intact in the entire dual table, in your entire dual table, when you see your noon intact, your mudare is going to be a raf in status. Okay? With noon intact, you are going to call your mudare as mudare marfu. Okay? Clear? And everyone, please focus, because this class, this concept requires a lot of attention. So we are talking about yansuruna, tansuruna. If I asked you, what's the status? What's the status? You are going to tell me it is a raf'in status. It is marfu. Okay? So in case of huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, dhamma is the sign of mudare marfu, right? Dhamma is a sign of mudare marfu in case of huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu. Now, when you look at your anti, noon is the sign of raf in case of anti. In case of your duals, in case of your dual, noon is the sign of raf in case of anti. In case of your duals, again, noon is the sign of raf status in case of dual. In case of yansuruna or tansuruna, again, what is the sign of raf? Noon, right? And I want you to, understand this concept. So, it's going to be all very, written in your slides that you will be getting after class, inshallah. So, sign of raf, dhamma was sabutun noon. If noon is present in your word, then I know my mudare is a raf in status. If my mudare is ending with dhamma and that dhamma is there, in case of huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, I'm going to call mudare marfu. In case of huma, antuma, hum, antum, as a pronoun in a fail, if my fail has those pronouns, or in case of antumi, noon is going to presence of noon. Subutun noon means presence of noon, noon being intact. That is going to be the sign of a raf status. When you learned about your al-af'alul khamsa, all these noons, presence of these noons, what does it indicate? That all these mudares are, what is the status of the mudare? You are going to focus on the status of the mudari now, right? The presence of noon is going to tell you that the status of my mudari is rough. See, I never tell you this noon is for plural or anything else. I only tell you your doer is here sitting as waw. This tells you this is plural, the doer is plural, and this is the doer. Noon is here indicating status of your fi'l mudari. Is it clear or no? Or too heavy or too difficult? This noon is going to be called noonul i'rab, because i'rab, when I shared my slides with you, how did I translate status? How did I translate status? What do I have it written as? i'rab, right? The status is the Arabic for i'rab. The Arabic for status is i'rab, right? You all remember or no? So here in af'alul khamsa that have waw or ya, yaul mukhataba, or alif al isnain, these words end with all of these words end with noon, and this noon is noon of status. If you memorize it in English, that is fine. Okay, if you just memorize it in English, that is fine too. If you don't remember noonul i'rab, that is fine. If you just remember noon of status, I'm good with that. Sabutul noon means presence of noon or noon being intact. The noon, sabutul noon means that noon is there. Okay, when something is sabit, in Urdu as well, sabit means something is not changed and it is the way it is supposed to be. It is in its default form, the form it should be in. And when we were learning our asma, we learned the default form of the default status of any ism is, what is the default status of an ism? Raf. So same is the case with your af'al. Your default form of your mudari is raf. Okay. Now, what's the second status? Let's see here. The second status for a mudari is mansub. When you were learning your ism mansub, what did you see on them? How did they end? If it was singular, your ism mansub ended with, or ism nasb ism ended with fatha, right? It ended with fatha. Same is going to be the case with your mudari here. Instead of the ma, now what is the haraka on ra? How is it ending? It's ending with fatha. Tansura, tansura, ansura, nansura, right? Everyone with me so far? This is clear. This part is easy. Now the second part is, because not everything is ending with fatha, right? We have this ending with yansurani, ending like yansurani. So in that case, you will see that when your mudari is nasb in status, and if your mudari is ending with, noon, if your mudari is ending with noon, what will happen to the noon? The noon gets dropped. There is hazfun noon. Hazf means that it is omitted. Noon is omitted. Can you see everywhere where your mudari was ending with noon? You don't see noon anymore. Tansurina became tansuri. Yansurani became yansura. Tansurani became tansura. Tansurani, again, all these three, all forms became ended up with only alif and noon got dropped. In case of yansuruna, again noon got dropped because it was ending with noon. And tansuru, again noon got dropped. Can you all see that? Make sense or no? So what will we say? In case of our af'alul khamsa, if my word is from af'alul khamsa, how will you make it mansoob? You will just simply remove noon. You will do omission of noon. You will do removal of noon. Drop noon. Easy. Yeah. Just drop noon. So in case of why was it important to learn af'alul khamsa? Al-af'alul khamsa, now you know, when you have your al-af'alul khamsa, you make them mansoob by dropping noon. Can you all see how I wrote them here? Yansuru, tansuru, yansura, tansura, tansuri. There is hazf of noon. Okay, and hazf means omission. Okay, now look at the third status. There just like in Islam has 3 statuses, your mudare also has 3 statuses. The third one is not majroor. Remember, the third status was jar, raf, nas, jar. Raf, nas, jar in case of ism, but in case of fail, that's not the case. In case of fail, you are going to see majzoom. What is majzoom? Do you know what jazm is? In Indo-Pak, this word is used very extensively. Jazm. What is jazm? Sakoon. Very well done. So jazm is that sakoon sign on your letters. So in case your word is from, you know, from those af'al, if your word is among those af'al that have inbuilt pronoun huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, one way to make mudare majzoom is by putting a jazm at the last root letter. Can you all see this circle sign? Because it does not allow me to put that rasul ha, how the actual jazm is in Quran. So I just have to put this sign here. So this represents your sakoon sign. Just think of it as your sakoon sign, though it does not look like your rasul ha, but still, you know, we'll have to bear, you know, tolerate this and make sure you understand this, right? Everyone with me so far? So your yansuru became yansur, tansuru became tansur, ansuru became ansur, nansuru became nansur. Everything got sakoon. And this was in case when my last root letter was sahih. Okay, last root letter was sahih. Remember, since the beginning of the course, here and there, I have been telling you, usually your word has 3 root letters, right? Usually your word has 3 root letters. More than 90% of the words in Quran have 3 root letters, okay? And the third root letter is the last root letter of any fail, okay? When I ask you, what are the root letters for yansuru? What are you going to tell me? What are the root letters for yansuru? Noon, Sod, Ra. And which is the last root letter? Among them, Noon, Sod, Ra. Is Noon the last root letter or Ra the last root letter? It's Ra, right? Ra is the last root letter. So everything is happening at the end of the word because status has to do with the end of the word. Like when we were doing Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina, we were looking at the end of the word. We were not bothered with the beginning, how the word was beginning. It's remained unchanged. The beginning remained unchanged. Similarly, in case of af'al, the beginning will remain the same. It's the ending that's going to undergo changes. Okay, so if my word is ending with dhamma, like in case of huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, my word is, how will I, if it is majzoom, what will the last root letter get? Sakoon or jazm. Okay, it is sakoon can also be called jazm. Okay, Jim Zaimi. Okay, so what is another way? Sorry. So there is, when you have to make a word majzoom in case of mudare, there are not only one way that you can make your mudare majzoom. There are three ways to do that. Okay, and it depends on the structure. What are the root letters of the word, and what is the pronoun in the word. So in case of, when will we see hasfun noon? In which af'al do we see hasfun noon? Khamsa, very well done. Your af'alul khamsa will, because only those ones I've known. Why would I think about anything else but af'alul khamsa? Why should I look anywhere else? Just by knowing your af'alul khamsa, knowing what kind of noon it has, you are able to know what changes your mudari can undergo. Okay? Now, this last one, you don't need to know at this point, but since, for the purposes of completeness, I have to introduce you to this. If your last root letter is not Sahih, Sahih means like, it is not Hamza, a Hamza or Alif or Alif, Waw or Ya. No, I'm not saying Hamza. I'm going to now say it is not Alif, Waw or Ya. If it is, if your last root letter is not Alif, Ya, or last letter, now you are not going to say root letter, you are going to say if your last letter is not Alif, Waw, Ya, then your fail is, and the rest of all the letters are, and there is no Alif, Waw or Ya in the entire word, in the entire construction of the word, your word is Sahih. Okay, keep that in mind. So here I use this term. So if the last root letter is Sahih, not weak, it is not Waw, Ya or Alif, then it's going to end with Jazm. Okay. In case of Af'alul Khamsa, what is going to happen? How will I make my word Majzoom? The slide is right in front of you. Drop noon, right? So I will simply drop my noon. And in case of when my last letter is Waw, Ya or Alif, what happens is that your mudari is going to be made Majzoom by simply dropping the weak letter. And what are the weak letters in Quran? They are Waw, Ya, Alif. What are the weak letters in Quran? And this is something I'm going to highlight it because I'm going to ask you in our next session, because this class does not, I need to make sure that you just not learn grammar, because this is something relevant to whatever you are doing with Quran. Okay, this is going to be very important for you to know that what are the weak letters. Okay, your weak letters are Waw, Ya, and Alif. In case of if your word is like Yahdi, is it mudari or no? Is it mudari? Is it ending with weak letter or no? It is ending with weak letter. Everyone agrees? So if I have to make this majzoom, what I do is I simply drop this ya. Drop it. Just drop it. Drop ya. If your mudari is ending with alif, drop that alif. If your mudari is ending with waw, drop that waw. Everyone with me so far? So again, three ways to make mudari majzoom. If it is ending with dhamma, if it is huwa, hiya, anta, ana, nahnu, what will you do? Put jazm or sakoon on that. So yansuru will become yansur, tansuru will become tansur, nansuru will become nansur, ansuru will become ansur. If it is from af'alul khamsa, what will you do? You drop noon. Please, if anyone has any confusion, kindly please write in Sister Faiza's group right away, because this I am not going to, this is going to be is something that you have to understand. You have to understand. Okay. If this will happen in cases when when the last letter of a word is alif, waw, and ya. Alif, waw, and ya. What will you do if you have to make that mudare majzoom? You will drop it. Drop the last letter. Drop that alif, drop that ya, or drop that alif, waw. Is it clear? I hope it is. Yes, very well done. So now the context is going to tell us there will be certain, I will teach you what will make mudare majzoom, what will make mudare mansoob. You will learn this. But right now, you know how when we started our med school, we were taught anatomy, right? We didn't know, if someone has Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, what is going to be the histological changes there, right? We were not taught that. We were just taught, this is muscle, there are different types of muscle cells, and we went from there, right? So similarly, in your Arabic grammar class, we'll do the same. We'll apply the same rule as we do in as we've done, how life works. This is how life works. You are introduced to the structure, and then you are taught function, and then you are taught pathology. Okay, everyone with me so far? Inshallah. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So now structurally, I have taught you alamatul mudari. I have taught you this, your doer pronouns. Those were important, right? If you see alif, it's your doer pronoun. If you see waw, it's your doer pronoun. If you see nunun niswa, it's your doer pronoun. If you see ya al mukhataba, it's your doer pronoun. Everyone with me so far? Any questions regarding that? It's your time. Ask me now. And even if you don't understand something afterwards, go back to recording. Go back to recording. And if you still don't understand, don't hesitate to put your questions in. We are here to help you. This group is not created to tell you how much we know, because we hardly know anything. So this is just, to help and to spread this message. I don't want likes on my videos. I don't want them. I don't like subscriptions. I want people to benefit from the work. Okay. So it is the same thing, you will, Sister Ranas, go to your af'alul hamsa, and you will just make them mansoob or majzoom by dropping the noon. In both mansoob and majzoom, you are going to just drop your noon. Clear? Okay. Let me know if you understood it. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So now I spoke about the entire table. Do you wonder? I did not, I spoke about entire table, right? I told you what will happen in mansoob and majzoom state and maf'ul state of the first column. I went over the whole dual column. I went over yansuruna, but I did not touch yansurna. I went over tansuruna, but I did not touch tansurna. I went over nansu, right? What about these two, right? What about these yansurna and tansurna? There is no dropping of anything. There is no change. There is no change. Stubborn, don't want to change. Yes. So when something does not want to change, what is the Arabic terminology for them? When something does not change, it is non-flexible. And what is an Arabic term for that? If someone remembers, well and good. If you don't, I can tell you. If something has fixed ending, It is mabni. Very well done. Very well done. So yes, it is mabni. So af'al with inbuilt pronouns hunna and antunna don't drop their noon. This noon does not get dropped. Why? Because if it gets dropped, will we be ever able to know what the doer is? But who the doer was? Look at the word. Look at the word here. So if I hide this noon, if I drop this noon, what will the word become? I will change, I will distort the word completely, isn't it? It will become majzoom anta or hiya. And this one will become huwa, huwa majzoom, if I drop noon. So what happens to noon? What happens to noon? Noon stays there. It does not get dropped. And if I ask you a question in your test, why does not it get dropped? Because it's your doer pronoun. Did you ever drop your doer pronoun in any of these af'al? Wherever you could see a doer pronoun, in case of you started seeing doer pronoun since anti, did you notice any drop in your doer pronoun? Did you notice any drop in your doer pronoun? No, you did not. Your doer pronoun stayed intact. It has to be yellows as well, right? Your doer pronoun remained unchanged. It remained intact. Because if I remove it, I cannot remove it. I cannot make any change to the doer inbuilt pronoun. Is this clear or no? So the whole point of af'alul khamsa and about their noon and what were they was to help you understand that how their noon is different from the noonun niswa. This noon is a doer pronoun, so it does not get dropped. These af'al are mabdi. Okay, they remain unchanged in all three statuses. Their status changes, but they cannot show the change in status by their ending. Like, which word comes to mind that does not change its status by its ending? And you have to rely on the context. Do you remember your non-flexible word? Give me any non-flexible word. And there are allazi, very well done, right? Allazi, allazi, allazi. I need to know the context. I cannot figure out the status by looking at the end of the word. I have to look at the context. Yes. So there are other allazina. Similarly, allazina, the context, or your pronouns. They're very well done. Very good example. Pronouns also, they don't change. Whom remains whom. Who remains who. He remains who. He does not change. They're mabni. They're fixed. You have to know the context. Okay. So a real quick recap. The things that you have been introduced to today were, we did a brief, quick review of af'alul khamsa. What letters do they have to have? What are the af'alul khamsa? Can you quickly write that? Waw alif ya. If your mudare has waw alif ya as a dual pronoun, that mudare is going to be from af'alul khamsa, okay? They all end with noon in the rough status, and their noon is noon of status or noonul i'rab, okay? Their noon can get dropped when they are nasb, or when they are mansoob, or when they are majzoom, okay? Their noon gets dropped when they are mansoob or when they are majzoom, right? So that was that. When it comes to your hunna and antunna, noon is not noonul i'rab. Noon is noonun niswa. It is a pronoun. It cannot get dropped, because never in your fail you will drop your pronoun. You will never drop your pronoun. Never. Okay? So alif ul isnain, alif of dual, remains the way it is. Waw ul jama'a will remain the way, wabil jama'a will remain wabil jama'a, right? When it is, even when you drop noon, you don't take away waw along with it. You just drop noon to change the status to nasb or jazm, right? To mansoob or majzoom form, and you have to take it to mansoob or majzoom form, you just remove the noon. So, and one more thing is, what are the weak letters of your, what are the weak letters in Quran? Waw, alif, and ya. So now this is alif I'm saying. I am not calling it Hamza. So keep that in mind. Alif and Hamza are not the same. Alif and Hamza are not the same. Okay, so with that, inshallah, I will end the session and I will tell you the reasons why these changes occur in our next session, inshallah. We will have our last class before winter break on 21st, inshallah, and then we'll take some break and I will give you some time to enjoy. Okay, so subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.